My name is Rachel, and I have 4 kids. Oldest is 14, and he is in 8th grade. Then I have a almost 13-year-old, and she is in 7th grade. We have another son who is 10 in 5th grade, and our last daughter is 9, and she is in 4th grade.
What has been the biggest challenge as a homeschooling parent?
You know, I think that there's probably a couple, but one of my biggest is understanding the different learning styles of each kid and accepting them for what they are. There's a word that for so long I saw as a negative word or as a handicap, and that's dyslexia. One of my children, particularly having very mild dyslexic tendencies, was something that kind of threw me off, and I didn't quite know what to do with. So learning their different styles and how each different child needs something just a little bit different has been one of my biggest struggles, but in the same return, one of my biggest delights, because I love the differences in my kids and learning who they are individually as a person.
What has been the biggest drawback to homeschooling?
If it would be considered a drawback, but it's still learning about myself and who I am. And you know, again, kids obviously change as they grow and seasons change in our lives. So of course, those first handful of years with small children, there's not a whole lot of freedom in your life as an individual and as a person. And you know, that doesn't really ever change other than they grow. So their independence obviously comes into play, and they're able to do things for themselves, but they're, you know, always home. So probably one of the biggest drawbacks would be very little free time. I don't find time to kind of reel in and focus on the things personally for myself. So that lack of free time, if I'm not careful, can be very draining to me as a person, and needing to balance that out is very important, I believe, for moms who aren't just being moms, but are educating their children. Teach yourself and to learn and to educate yourself. And, you know, more than anything, you know, feed your spirit and feed your soul in the things that will encourage you, and then in return be able to encourage your children.
What doubts or fears have you had to overcome?
My biggest fear has been, you know, am I not doing enough? Am I missing something? Because of my personality, am I being too lackadaisical or not disciplined enough or whatever? And now the tides have turned, and I'm like, have I had fun enough? Have I enjoyed this enough? You know, like, it's not too far from being over. And so that's so my fears have flip-flopped a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm done being Miss Hannigan, and it's time to be Mary Poppins, you know, because that's where real learning is found, is, you know, being your heart being full of joy and actually digging into what you love, you know, and I don't want to miss that. I don't want to lose that.
What has been the greatest reward in homeschooling?
You know, imagining the joy that I found in seeing my children learn to read and learn to write, and being there when they do those things. It's not any different to me than taking their first steps, but just seeing the things that they truly enjoy and love, and then watching that play itself out, you know, and but to actually see them to get to start learning how to do those things. Whether or not they do those when they grow up, who knows? I mean, they're very young still. But to see them like dig in and to learn more about those topics or those subjects has been super joyful. I think just watching them grow, you know, has been one of the biggest joys for me so far.